Yo, what's going on, guys? Gonna be showing you what Hecarim can do after the buffs. For those of you who weren't aware, they didn't call them buffs. However, it shot his win rate up to the #1 spot for junglers. He's in a really good spot to carry with. You don't really want to take Phase Rush on him, though. Phase Rush is pretty pointless. You want to take Conquer with Triumph, Tenacity, Last Stand, Nimbus Slayer with attack speed 80 and armor. So basically, what they did was they slightly nerfed his E. They slightly nerfed his R, and when I say slightly, I mean like you wouldn't be able to notice a difference. And then they absolutely gigabuffed his Q, giving it way more damage, and it stacks 3 times instead of 2, while simultaneously turning his W into a beast machine. It gives him armor magic resist, and not only heals him for the damage that he's dealing during its duration, but also heals him for the damage that his allies are taking. So his W is quite a bit better. Q and W are absurdly good abilities, and his E and R are barely any worse. So Hecarim's in a really good spot. You can start on red buff or blue buff side. It doesn't make that big of a difference. Hecarim can generally do full clears at 315 full HP if you do get a leash, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice, not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and pop our W. And we're going to drag this over. You want to try to keep all 3 stacks of your Q up as you're crossing over. That way you'll be doing more damage and a lower cooldown. It used to just be a lower cooldown. Now it is massive increased damage. Percent base that scales off of your AD. Your W also now scales off of AD. Your E scales off of AD. The only thing that doesn't scale off of AD is literally your R. Even your passive scales off of AD. They turned Hecarim into an AD scaling machine, kind of like a Riven. Literally the only thing is your R that doesn't. You can cast Q without canceling autos and without having to stand still. Very spicy. Your worst matchups on Hecarim are usually tanky junglers for in team fights, but in the early game your hardest matchup is usually against Kindred. But even then, Hecarim's bad matchups are very playable. It's hard for a lot of champions to match Hecarim's gank tempo. His gank tempo is extremely quick. They ran a cast top. We'll be ganking her from behind. You want to try to gank low mobility champions that you can punish with your E. Your E is a massive speed up. Dash. You can even go over walls with it if there's an enemy there that you have vision of. So we just did a 315 full HP with leash. We still have a refill. We are going to start to lose some Q stacks. They burn off 1 at a time. By the time we get here, it's going to be too late. Hit her with a QW. I don't really want to steal these. I'm just going to kind of set them up for him. I don't mind taking some XP, though, after a successful gank. Because he kind of needs to reset anyways. The wave's back. It's set to neutral, so he can go back and spend his gold. I'm going to ghost for this. We still have our E as a gap closer. Could hit this guy with our E. Kite out the Karthus. Down he goes. Ghost is super good on Hecarim because you do more damage the faster you are anyways. It's based off of your movement speed, so very spicy. Alright, got the push on her. She flashed. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just leave it where it's at. We're in a really good spot. On your first recall, you're usually looking for Lucids. They'll speed up your clears and help your ganks out a lot since you'll be faster. Hecarim... oops, bot tier on accident. Hecarim's best item rush right now is Eclipse because it's only 3,100 gold, which is fairly inexpensive compared to some of the bruiser style items like Divine Sunder, 3,300, 200 more gold for a lot less AD. And they gave Hecarim such good AD scalings that literally his highest win rate build is Eclipse Rush into Black Cleaver into Death's Dance. It's very sad that they don't have kind of like the API built in to recognize that, and instead it seems like they have somebody out there somewhere deciding what is popular and what is good on a given champion, even though it's literally a much lower win rate in pick rate than Eclipse. So it is what it is. Don't go Divine Sunder, just rush Eclipse. Lots of damage. And it even gives you movement speed and a shield, so really good item. They don't have a very good comp to handle Hecarim. Say that much. We have 3 stacks. It's going to burn down to 2 here. It's really easy to keep your stacks up since they only fall off 1 out of a time now. Super beginner friendly champion, and he has skill curve because of his E mechanic, pushing people with it. Your R extends your E duration a bit. If your E's about to end and you R, it'll last till you come out of your R and you can push them with it. Go ahead and pop with our E. Push him into our teammate there. Get her with an auto attack. Wukong's only level 4. He's doing low damage. I have my Conqueror stacked. Morge. Ooh, he barely lived from the Triumph. We're going to go ahead and shove this wave in. We were super low mana for that gank. Just want to get this push. I'll stay for 1 play. I should get the assist off that since we hit it. Nice. He should reset it, spend his gold, get his HP back. You don't... By him overstaying, he's going to give tempo back to the cast, and I'm out of mana, so I can't really help him. Go for that sweet, sweet Eclipse. Literally the highest win rate, big rate jungler right now. That's so crazy because in the changes, it didn't say buffs. It just said adjustments or changes, right? This Hecarim and one other champion, but it launched him from being an obscure kind of top 20, top 30 style jungler to being the #1. So I don't know how you can't just call it a buff at that point. Problem is the PvE server is such a joke that they take a lot of their information for the changes from that and they decide like how to tweak it. But the PvE is horrible because most people who play on there are laggy because PvE is in NA. And most of the people on there are playing from like EU West, so they're just super laggy and they're giving really bad data. We're gonna smite that, bash him. We're on Ghost, hit him with the Q. We're gonna get the Ghost extensions here. We're really, really, really fast. We're gonna come up behind her, hit her with the EQ. And we barely die there. That is unfortunate. Barely died. If we just had 50 more health, we would have lived. Ghost extensions is sick. If you get a killer assist while you're on Ghost, it extends it based on your level. Per level, your Ghost gets faster. It starts out around 27%. I think it gets up to like 50. The extension starts out around 3 or 4 seconds. It gets all the way up to 7 seconds. So, best summoner on Hecarim by far. You can take Ignite, but with his changes to his Q being super strong and his W being super strong, you don't really need Ignite to win solo fights. And if you feel like you're going to struggle in that solo fight, just don't take it and out gank and out farm your opponent. Most champions can't 315 full clear full HP. Hecarim can. Most champions don't have super solid pre-6 ganks. Hecarim does. So he's in this weird category of like the Kayn, Evelynn. They finished 315, except who has a better gank pre-6? Hecarim, Kayn, or Eve? Clearly Hecarim above both of them because he has hard CC and more mobility. So I think they're definitely going to have to revert a lot of what they've done. I think what they'll end up doing is primarily reverting his W. They shouldn't have given it armor and magic resist, and they shouldn't have given it the healing from the damage your allies taken. That just doesn't make any sense. Nearby enemies. Okay, so let me read this. So you heal for % damage nearby enemies take from you, and you heal for % based off of damage taken by your allies. It's too much. All they needed to do was buff his Q like they did, and that would have been fine. But they just... The W buffs are too good, man. I'll be honest. Like the armor, magic resist. If someone rushes Sork Shoes, they're useless against you because of the extra magic resist and armor for free. Someone rushes lethality, they're useless against you because of your extra armor, right? In team fights, you're way tankier because the extra armor, magic resist, plus the damage your teammates are taking. So if the enemy's smacked in with a big AoE ability like a Fiddle R, you're healing like crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and E in. Completely whiffed my R. That was not good. Just need one more auto on that chick. Please flash for it. I don't know if they've removed that on his E. They might have actually done that because it didn't extend my duration like it always has for your E. Your R normally does that. Pause during onslaught of shadows. So just pauses it. Doesn't actually extend it. Because before, even if it was like gonna, there's only like 1,000th of a second left on it. If you R'd after you came out of R, it'd give you like 1/4 of a second to use it. So it literally just pauses it. So it was gonna end in the 10th of a second. I didn't even have time to really start it after my R because I missed my R and I had to catch back up to her to get in range for the dash itself. So I guess it is still true that it extends it by just pausing it. It's not a very clean extension in my opinion. I'll wait for a little poop Kong here. We have huge item gold spent advantage. We have tier 2 boots, so we're faster. We also have a clip, so we're stronger. We'll go ahead and ghost for this. Got on with the blue smite. We get the ghost extensions off this. Oh, I think we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Oh, that's sick. The Eclipse heal's too good. The Omni Vamp. That's sick, man. Heck, the Karthus even blew his barrier for that. I didn't really get much out of it. Hecarim's just too freaking good. He's a more mobile version of Udyr. He's a physical damage Udyr, more mobile, more AoE CC. Faster, healthier, clears better ganks. A better champion than Udyr. They spent all that time to rework him. Udyr is a really good top laner. Udyr top lane win rate and pick rate kind of speaks for itself. But Udyr jungle is honestly not that good. He's really not. He has to choose between mobility or tankiness, and if he doesn't go for a turtle max second, he can get sold by most junglers. So he's kind of left in a weird spot where he can't really solo anything, and his ganks still aren't that good for having to go bear max second. Q's stacked up. Wukong's not going to want to jump in. He doesn't know that our smite's on a cooldown. Go ahead, take Blue Gromp at the same time here. We'll play for drag, so I won't go for the Herald. Herald ends the game really early, so in this case, we'd want to gank mid or top. After that gank is successful or we force him to back, then we take Herald. I don't want to, though, because I don't want to end the game. I want to show you guys what this can do later on in the game, but pushing for a mid-top gank into Herald would be the correct play at this point since Dragon's on a cooldown. By us pushing for that, they can't free retaliate into Dragon and get that as a trade. So we already took it. We have next item, Black Cleaver. It's always Eclipse Black Cleaver into generally Death's Dance. If you need a magic resist item, you could go for, I guess, Hex Drinker. Maw's not the best on Hecarim, though. The thing is, dealing with AP champs, the magic resist you get from your W alone is more than enough to handle Sork Shoes. Sork Shoes is only 18 magic penetration, and this gives you so much magic resist. Like, this is already giving us more magic resist than Sork Shoes can penetrate to where it overwashes it. Looking at the builds, more probably solos cast here. I'm gonna head over though, just in case. She's doing a good job kiting them out. You can see he has Rylai's Rush, so he's not easy to kite out. We're gonna go ahead and speed in. Try to hit him with an R. Down he goes. We have the Nimbus, so when we smite him, we get a big speed up. Our R's have been really ugly this game. But it just hasn't mattered too much. We haven't needed that extra value to make the plays work due to the situations we've been taking. We're gonna go ahead and ghost for this. E. We can keep tanking too. That's what I'm saying. The extra armor from your W is too good. Makes you take less damage from all physical damage, whether it be monsters, minions, champions. I don't know why she's trying to steal these from me. It's kind of trashy. Giving them so much bot side. Sharing some XP. We're both getting the majority of the total anyways. And that's it. They quit. We'll go ahead and do a part 2. Hecarim in the bunghole. See you guys there. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of some buffed Hecarim action. Even though Riot called it an adjustment, it's literally just a buff. Turned him into the highest win rate and pick rate jungler in the game. Up against a Kayn, he ran Dark Harvest. That's a big no-no. Dark Harvest Kayn or Electrocute Kayn are both pretty non-viable ever since the durability buffs for champions and epic monsters. So for Kayn these days, it's pretty much just always blue Kayn with Conqueror and Red King style items with Mana Moon. So this should be pretty straightforward to kill him. Even if he did have Conqueror though, Hecarim can kind of solo Kayn if you play it right. Morgana is annoying to deal with because of her snare. You can kind of go through it with your R though. I'm thinking we camp top and maybe go bot if the more Jhin push up. Jhin took fleet, so even though he's immobile, he does have some mobility going on for him. We have the same runes, Conch, Triumph, Tenacity, Last Stand with Nimbus, Celerity. Nimbus synergizes really well with your passive on Hecarim, having more movement speed, doing more damage. It also lets your Ghost hit really, really hard. Early game, your Ghost, 24% extra movement speed is pretty trash. Ghost is more for the mid-late game, or for more multi-target fights because of its extensions you get from kills and assists. Ideally, Smite whenever your W is on to maximize its healing. Your Smite does a whole lot of damage, so the percent-based heal for 30% of what you do is quite nice. I'm going to pull these out a little bit. Even if you lose a stack, it's not a big deal. You only lose out on a little bit of damage and ability haste for your Q. I'm actually going to steal some of this over the wall. It's dirty, but most players don't even realize it. We'll probably just end up killing Ahri anyway, so it's whatever. As long as you're close enough to the wall, you get the minion XP over. Hitting a timely level 6 on big level 6 power spikers like Hecarim is super important to carry. I'm going to keep pulling this up. Try to take Bloom Gromp same time. I'm going to pull the Gromp over. Hit them both with a Q. We'll pop the W. Get that big healing. Still gonna put some red buff autos on the Gromp. That way we're maximizing our red buff burn. And now we have infinite mana. 20 mana back per second. A lot from jungle item since we're low mana. We just did a pre-315 with leash, not bad. We'll go for Scuttle immediately, put our E on cooldown. It starts going on cooldown from the second you touch it, which is nice. You're not really penalized for holding it towards max speed. Looks like Kayn, I don't know where this guy, oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. He literally loses this fight so hard. He's not even level 4. Down he goes. Feels bad. We'll go for opposite side Scuttle. I think he tried to gank level 2, which is a big no-no on full clear junglers. Most full clear junglers have extremely inconsistent level 2, level 3 ganks to where when that gank doesn't pan out, which it most likely won't, you fall super far behind. The enemy jungler can abuse you like we did there. I saw him show up mid, so I figured we could invade and kill him. And we'll go ahead and pop up. I don't think he saw us yet. Alright, he popped his smite for it. It's not terrible. I kind of need to reset here anyways. I don't know where their AD carry is, so I'm not going to engage too heavy here. Just holding on to her snare for something. Saving it for next game, I guess. Pyke's giving a lot of pressure mid. There goes the Morgana Black Shield. We can show on this. We need to get our red buff slow on him. The Pyke hook, unfortunate. Good back here for Lucids, honestly. Or take Kayn's Krug since we have Plant take his Raptors. Looks like he's resetting. He must have a decent item or he's just afraid he's gonna die. We're being really aggro with him. We still have red buff and blue buff, and all he has is long sword, so he's pretty beatable for us. Even if we didn't have red buff and blue buff, since he's missing a lot of HP with just a long sword item diff, he can't really fight us. Darius is fed plus tier 2 boot plated. It's going to be hard for us to kill him in a gank, so we'll go ahead and avoid him here for a moment. Ahri's kind of gankable because she's low health. Her positioning is hard to touch. Now we could do it. Catty gets to level 6. That's really good for us. Yeah, I think we'll just recall. Might as well. We can recall into Krug red. Wraps, hit 6, and spend our gold as well. We'll look for the Lucids into not Tier. Tier's kind of greedy to rush on Hecarim. You miss out on a lot of damage, and you don't really run out of mana as a jungler. Because you get blue buffs plus whenever you're in the jungle, or river, or even this counts as jungle right here. Get a bunch of mana back. More based off of how much you're missing. Darius is missing a lot of HP. If yours should be fine. Go ahead and use our E to get around the map. We're gonna go mid. Well, Ahri's not level 6. She's probably about to hit it though since Kat is 6. She'll get it off of that wave most likely. Yep, she's level 6. I'm glad I didn't go for the gank. Would have been a lot of wasted time. Looks like my raptors are gone. I wonder who took those. Kane must have been over here. Doubt Ahri would have done that. Their bot lane shoving up with a big wave. We could head over there. Pull this out to keep our stacks up as well. They're just... Okay, they're there. Cool. Oh, I should have R'd. That sucks. At least we get the fear still. Yeah, this is a double. I needed to R through the snare. We could have gone straight through the CC. So that's my bad. Kind of want some of this XP. Go ahead and smite that. Pike's giving Kane some free essence. We have boots advantage on Kane. We both have double longsword. He's going to be on... I guess he already took blue and Grom. I'll be taking this then and pushing into his red side. Trying to pathway from his bot lane a little bit here. I don't think he missed that much HP. Not really sure where he's at. Got a crossover anyways. Might as well do some damage to her. Finish her off. Very nice. Kane's coming from the wave. We'll take this camp. Looks like he spent his gold. He has serrated, but he doesn't have tier 2, so we should still be fine versus him. Oh, I smited it. We don't want to fight this out. We're at low mana. 13 back per second. Come on, blue buff. Don't do me like that. Your Q is a bit more range than your autos. Not by much. They don't cancel your autos or anything like that. So if you're ever trying to hit someone with a Q, just hold down C and it'll show your auto attack range, and then it's just a little bit bigger than that, really. So once they're almost within inside your auto range, you can smack them with a Q like this. I've never really seen anyone hold down C before. It's just kind of niche. It's kind of useful though for Hecarim. Hecarim or an Alistar. Alistar with his knockup range being about an auto range. It gives you a more... It gives you a bit of a template to work off of so you don't make that mistake. Especially if you're tired or jittery or something. And drinking coffee, energy drinks, or staying up late. It's easier to make those mistakes. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, this is really bad. I'd use my R. So much CC. Going Merc Treads here wouldn't have been bad. It's usually Lucids for the snowball. But Merc Treads definitely would have been solid. We'll look for serrated, grab one of these. We'll push back out onto the map. Darius is full HP. I'll go bot side. Dragon's up. I don't want to leave that vulnerable. Darius has plated, so we can't really gank him. It's a lot of armor and a lot of mobility. Plus our bot lane's playing well and they have very good CC to gank off of. Fiora doesn't have proper CC. All she has is a skill shot slow, which sometimes is a stun if I guess she timed it against his hook, which is very inconsistent to say the least. Now we have quite a bit more gold spent than the Kane. We could crush him in this fight. I think R used her R as well. Pyke's looking for the roam from base. Might be able to find something here. We don't have any camps up anyway, so might as well look for it. She's playing pretty safe. Oh, I just wasted my ghost. Feels bad. Kata gets the solo kill. Don't mind if I do. Thank you very much, Kane. His red buff's down. We'll pop over for those Krugs then. We have a CS lead on him now. R's coming up. We could go use that on this guy. Don't really want to go in before. Oof, I can't fight now. He's got passive up. 229 AD. Passive falls. Now he's 130. That's insane. 70 AD right now. He gets more AD from full stack passive than you can get from any single AD item in League of Legends. It's only level 10 as well. Now that his passive is down, maybe question mark. Yeah, I don't think he wins this. He needs another Q is the thing. We just gotta wait for our E. Yeah, he knows too. That's why he tried to re-engage with his slow, because he knew that he was gonna get ran down. He needed to get another heal immediately. Unfortunate for him. Hecarim is a pretty short cooldown if you think about it, because it lasts for 4 seconds, and at that point it's only really an 11-second cooldown because it starts from once you activate it. Pretty sweet. Only have 1 point in it. Doesn't get any lower per cooldown, unfortunately. They slightly, like I said, they slightly nerfed Hecarim E and R because they wanted to giga buff his Q and his W, so he's way, way, way better than he was, especially as a jungler. But his E didn't really get buffed. I don't think they really wanted him to be a top laner, so they didn't want to give him a overly consistent form of engagement. As a jungler, like, even if your E was a 60-second cooldown, it would still really be up for every time you wanted to gank. So it's usually what they do when they don't want a champion to be a laner. For example, Zac E starts out at like a 20-something second cooldown. Makes it hard for him to play as a laner. Zac has to max W first because of that. Also, W is a more consistent form of damage anyways. It's not a skill shot. Our R is about to be up, so we'll go ahead and stay on the map even though we're sitting on a lot of gold. If the enemy team was more fed than us, we would definitely want to reset before dragon fight. That way we could get completely jacked with our items. It's dragon time. We'll check the enemy's items before dragon fight. I have more gold spent than Kane still, so this is fine for us to fight. If he was full item, this might be kind of sussy. But he's not full item, so it's a-okay. It'll turn out just fine. Jin's by himself. We might actually be able to kill him. Go ahead and push him into the kata. Get him with the fear. Nice. So much tempo. Pop that. Hidden oracles. And we get another oracles for free. That bug's been in the game for years. I don't know why they haven't fixed that. There's certain bugs they just don't care about. It has to be game breaking for them to really go out of their way to fix it. Having 2 oracles sure is nice though. Oh, I wasted my W. Oh! Darius is pretty big, but I guess Kata is too. I would rather reset. We're sitting on Eclipse right now. This is a terrible spot to recall. That was awful. Really should have found a better spot than that. Oh well. Got some extra HP from the cleaver. We have loads of burst. And our W is giving us loads of tankiness. That's why you don't have to go Divine anymore. Plus Divine's been kind of over nerfed. It's because it does so much. Divine's 80 tankiness and burst from its Sheen style passive and max health damage. So it's a very challenging item to balance. If they took away the max health damage, it'd be incredibly easy to balance. They give just about everything max health damage these days. Even Eclipse has max health damage. Hit him twice within a short period of time with 2 separate attacks, only an 8-second cooldown. Plus it gives you a shield and a speed up. Really, really spicy. Never thought I'd see the day where Eclipse was the standard meta for Hecarim jungle. Zed players cry out everywhere. Alright, I guess you do it, Kata. I'll take the assist. Alright, we get her out of there. Heal off of these real quick and we can chill with R. Oh, we're on a ward. I didn't even realize that. It's nice not having to base. Having a sustain item feels really good. Something that Warwick will always struggle to be meta. Warwick can't AoE clear his camps. He's forced to buy the overpriced Tiamat. Tiamat used to be cheaper in older seasons of League. Meanwhile, champions like Hecarim and Nocturne, Evelynn, Kayn, Karthus, Nunu can all AoE clear their camps with their abilities, and they can focus on higher quality first item rushes. And depending on the tempo of the game, you can look more for farming heavy, and you're not going to fall behind because your champion can actually clear camps. I feel like Warwick really needs some love. Whoa, what was that flash? Oh my god, that Warwick flash was MLG, dude. She somehow got on that wall with me. Is kind of gnarly. Keep our Q stacked off the minion here. We have Eclipse. This guy has Dustblade, which is a lot worse than Eclipse. Eclipse does way more damage. Dustblade is a very garbage item. The only thing it gives that it would be nice if Dustblade would is ability haste. That's it. It's the only thing it gives that's just objectively better. Plus I think 5 more AD, but the max health damage alone on Eclipse is worth more than the extra AD and ability haste Dustblade gives. Max health damage is just broken. Max health damage and true damage are game-breaking mechanics or game-breaking stats that have really become far too prevalent. It makes playing tanks not very fun. It's also forced them to give tanks really high base damage, since squishies can kill tanks pretty fast with a lot of different item choices, to where the tanks by default have to have really high base damage to basically be able to one-shot squishies, to where it's like, yeah, I don't like that. No me gusta. This is a shame. I used to play a lot of Rammus in earlier seasons. Loads and loads of Rammus. One of my favorite champions. I really wish they would revert his R. They did that to... I think they did that to try to help him, because he wasn't like a super meta jungler, but he was still good. His R literally just made him worse. It doesn't do real damage, and it gives a lot less overall CC than his old R. His old R was a massive AoE slow and damage that stacked, and it was basically an AoE Nasus wither if you could stay on top of them for the early part of it. And they turned it into a highly readable skill shot that anyone with like an average reaction time and an average computer with average internet could consistently dodge with very little skill. I just wish it was better. Like, I get wanting to make something a skill shot for counterplay, but like when he lands it, it should be more than 3/4 of a second of a knock-up, you know? There's harder CCs in League that are point and click that there's no counterplay for. That when you land ones that are challenging or inconsistent, it should reward you for it. Kind of like a Hecarim. It's a massive AoE CC. Faster travel time, harder to dodge than a Rammus R. And Hecarim R has much more CC than Rammus R has. These guys are kind of giving up a little bit. They had a rough early game. Darius did well. Kane struggled. Our mid and AD carry are rather fed. We'll wrap it up here. What a bunch of goobers. Hit her with the blue smite. Oh, wow. Darius damage is no joke. He hit me with one attack. Like one auto into R. Nearly killed me. He's one full item. Stride break. Nothing else is giving him damage, I guess, outside of these partials. Just stray long swords and whatnot. Darius jungle really is sleeper OP, man. I really like playing that champ in the jungle. His passive does 300% bonus damage against monsters. His Q heals him against monsters. Darius can do pre-315 full clears, full HPs. Come on, Kane, let me have it. You won't give it to me. We'll reset for Cleaver, build in Death's Dance, and we'll wrap these guys up. Death's Dance, give it to me. Or go Black Cleaver in the Death's Dance. There it is. Sell that. I don't know. I just ended up with the same thing. Oh well. That's fine. I can't get what I want. No matter how many times I shuffle it back and forth. Playing the classic play from fountain without surrendering. Very typical in League of Legends. There's always 1 to 2 players who are going to spite vote no despite their teammates because they're mad at them. Nice. That should be it. GG's, well played. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to hack the algorithm. My name is Kingsticks. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.